And now we'll move on to a consent calendar. All items are considered routine or implemented at an earlier council action and may be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion unless requested. Is there any item that colleagues wish to pull for a separate vote? Not seeing any. Are there any items for questions and or comments?
Through the chair.
Oh, and I'm sorry. Hold on. I apologize. I see we have a member of the public, so it might be for the last item. So, City Clerk, can we check? And then I'll get to the colleagues on the items. Talk about.
Yes, Paul Wapinski.
No, it's for item 5F.
Okay. Thank you. So, Vice Mayor Medina.
Yes, Mayor Medina, thank you. Just wanted to have the public hear what item 5E is about, the importance of that. 5F and 5H, please. Just some comments. Thank you.
Councilmember Mason.
Echoing 5E, also comment or suggestion. And I think that's it for me. Thank you.
Thanks. All right, so let's take 5E, adopt resolution denouncing hate crimes and bigotry targeting Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders. We may have further dialogue. Let's just start with the Vice Mayor and then Councilmember Mason.
Yes, Mr. Mayor. A proclamation. I think we should acknowledge it and perhaps even go ahead and announce it. It's just kind of odd that it's in the consent. I'm just wanting people to know how serious this council takes, how serious this city takes all hate crime.
Councilmember Mason. And then Councilmember Salazar.
Yeah, so I just want to read a little something that I wrote that's related to this item. That it's in general, it's easy to think that racial tensions don't exist here in San Mateo County. But I want to go back to not really that long ago when a man named Sing Sheng and his pregnant wife, Grace, decided to move to a neighboring suburb here in San Mateo County with their 2.5-year-old son. And this was, I'm not going to name the city because I don't want to call anybody out because it's pretty egregious what happened. But after answering an ad in the San Francisco Chronicle, Mr. Sung put down $2,950 as deposit to buy a house in this neighborhood. Upon learning of the pending sale, the owners of the property received angry calls, letters, and threats accusing them of breaking the racially restrictive covenants of the subdivision by selling their home to the Shung family. The neighbors also lashed out on the potential buyers, accusing them of bringing down the value of the neighborhood. Mr. Shung asked that the neighborhood vote on whether his family could live there in a democratic way. Prior to the vote, Mr. Shung sent a letter to the neighborhood echoing the local and national media's framing of the vote as a triumph or failure of democracy in the United States. In fact, the neighborhood did take a vote. Imagine if this happened today, to take a vote whether somebody can live in our block or our neighborhood because of what race we are. The city manager was the one who counted the votes. At the end of the vote count, 14 people did not vote, 28 voted in favor of the Shung family moving into their community, and 174 neighbors voted against the Shung family moving into their neighborhood. 174. This was in 1952, not really that long ago when you think about history. And so when we look at this resolution and the hate crimes that we're seeing on a national basis increase against the AAPI community, it's important that we acknowledge that this history is not new and that our obligation to stand up for each other really continues today. I really wanted to thank Chair Salazar and the entire Heart Committee for the quick turnaround on this very important resolution, to Mayor Medina for initiating the resolution, And I really enjoyed working with everyone, but wish it wasn't necessary to write a resolution like this in 2021, only about 60 years after that story I just told, which, by the way, is a real story and very, very close to San Bruno. So thank you, everyone, for working on this. And of course, I'm going to support the resolution.
Councilmember Salazar.
Thank you. And Councilmember Mason alluded to this, but I wanted to thank Council and the Mayor for allowing the Heart Committee to take this project on and allowing us to work on this. And I also wanted to thank the members of the Heart Committee and especially Councilmember Mason, who was very engaged in the process and in putting this together and bringing a product back to us here as a full council. And so, I wanted to make sure that the members of the committee were recognized for their contributions in this. And while this resolution may be words on a piece of paper, the process I think is also important in that we did engage with representatives of our community, and the statement that we are submitting to the council today is a reflection, a concurrence from those community members in terms of what we believe in and what we're recognizing as an issue. Without getting into reading the whole resolution, it does state a number of facts, including the fact that there have been thousands of incidents recorded nationwide, hundreds just here in the Bay Area. And so, I mean, these are shocking statistics, but they are true. And our resolution also states in no uncertain terms that the city of San Bruno will not tolerate these things in our community nor our extended communities. And it does make a very solid statement around that. And so, again, I just wanted to thank everyone involved and also put my support behind us unanimously approving this resolution tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, seeing no other hands, we're going to move on to item F under consent, and that is adopt a resolution appropriating $75,000 from the general fund consultant services to perform various economic and fiscal analysis in evaluating appropriate community benefit contributions for large-scale development projects. And also, what I'd like to do, and thank you for his patience, I'd like to bring Paul in who wanted to speak on this.
Yes, Paul Lipinski, I'm bringing you back in.
All right, can you hear me?
Yes. Whenever you're ready.
Yeah, in the staff report, it says this is traditionally something that developers pay for, but out of convenience, you want the taxpayers to pay for this. And I think you're probably gonna pass it, but if we do, we should get that money recouped back from developers and not have the citizens pay for this fee. And also, it's confusing because when I read the staff report, it says you're asking for $75,000, but the last sentence of the discussion says it's $75,000 per vendor per fiscal year, and that's not $75,000. That's what is the actual amount that it's going to cost us this year and in the future. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. And I believe Vice Mayor Medina, you'd also wanted to comment or have a question.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Lipinski had pretty much the same question. In the staff report, it says some of the money could be recovered, and I'm would like to know why wouldn't all of it be recovered if it was a study that was necessary for the project that is under our approval.
Is there anybody on staff who might be able to assist in that question, please? City Manager.
Sure. Members of the council, Jovan, Grogan, City Manager. Let me address a few of the questions and then I'll talk a little bit more globally. To the point that was raised by Mr. Lipinski, the staff report does denote the signature authority of the city manager, which is $75,000 per year per vendor. This item is requesting a $75,000 appropriation for studies that cost anywhere, as the staff report notes, between $20,000 to $30,000 for each study. In addition, the next question asked by the council member and Mr. Wapinski is reimbursement. It's important to note that the city's ability to negotiate for community benefits does not happen on all projects. It happens on projects when there is a discretionary action that will be before the city council. And there are times where it is needed for staff to engage with the developer and also hire an economist to inform our process in those negotiations. It has happened when that process begins before there is a formal reimbursement agreement due to the pace of the negotiations and the pace of the project. It is helpful for us so we're not delaying projects and entering into contract with the vendor on each study to have an appropriation in place so we can have a vendor under contract and get them to begin work immediately. It also notes in the staff report that we do anticipate that some of this cost will be reimbursed by developers when we have a cost reimbursement. It has been our practice that 100% of the cost has been reimbursed by developers. It is also possible that we can go down the path and begin to negotiate community benefits, but something can happen along the way where we are not reimbursed or the project does not occur. That sometimes happens, has not happened as of late, but we did want to cover that fact that we may expend some funds that are not reimbursed. I would say on the whole, given the magnitude of community benefit packages that we have been able to negotiate, oftentimes in the hundreds of thousands of dollars and the millions of dollars, this is money well spent, and it provides your staff with the resources to have economists that can analyze the intricacies of real estate transactions, often which for some of our large developments are real estate transactions and developments in the multi-million dollars, if not hundreds of millions of dollars. And the ability to bring personnel on to inform our negotiations is critical. And we do believe that it is money well spent. And for the most part, we do expect for it to be reimbursed. There may be the occasional instance where a development does not come to fruition or something happens during the entitlement process where the work does cease. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments by colleagues on item F? Okay, let's move on to item H. Item H is waive first reading and introduce amendments to the San Bruno Municipal Code, Chapter 2.36, to complete transition of the personnel board functions to the city manager's office and human resources department. Vice Mayor.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, thank you. Previously, when this was first brought to the council's attention, I asked if the union was providing a letter of concurrence saying this was fine, and we got a verbal that, yeah, the union said it was okay. So I'm just following up to find out if we received any formal acceptance or concurrence of this change, or any additional comments from the union representatives.
I'm seeing the assistant city manager and or the city manager may wish to address or have a comment.
Sure. I'm not seeing the assistant city manager on. If she's on, she's happy to take this question. Not seeing the camera come on. Why don't I address this?
Okay.
The city staff has been in contact with the union. They have lent their support. We have not acquired a formal letter of that, nor a protest that has been submitted to the city. And so we are comfortable proceeding forward. This change does not require the concurrence of the union. That's important to note, but we did talk about this with the city's labor unions and initially received their support and have not had a withdrawal of that support.
Thank you.
All right, any other questions or comments on item H? If not, I think we've hit on item E, F, and H. Is there any action from council regarding consent?
Move to approve.
Is there a second? Okay,
I'll
motion,
second.
motion Salazar and second got in by Hamilton. And so roll call, please.
Councilmember Hamilton,
Aye.
Councilmember Mason,
Aye.
Councilmember Salazar,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Marty Medina.
Aye.
Mayor Rico Medina.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you.